Pat Riley just called out LeBron James like no one else would. He said it straight. You ran away when it got hard.
That call when LeBron James told you that he was leaving.
I'm pissed, okay? So go ahead, get it out there.
You've described yourself publicly as devastated, and you've said that you will never forget that phone call where you just felt like, hey, weren't we building something together?
You know, when LeBron made that call, I saw a dynasty fly out the window. I didn't blame him, but I knew that that was a 10-year team. It was just a sad day for me and for our franchise because I wanted that dynasty.
Pat Riley looked LeBron James in the eyes and said something no one else in basketball would dare to say. You ran away when it got hard. Think about that for a second. This isn't coming from a blogger, a podcast host, or some former player with a grudge. This is Pat Riley, the most successful executive in NBA history, the man who built the teams LeBron used to win championships. He finally spoke openly about something he's kept private for years. Most people haven't heard this story yet. The media is still trying to put the pieces together. What you're about to hear changes how you see LeBron. Not just as a player, but as a person. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about loyalty, pride, and choices. It's about what happens when the best player of his generation faces a legend and takes the easy way out. Stick around. This story goes way deeper than you think.
As Riley admits this, I had 2 to 3 days of tremendous anger. I was absolutely livid, which I expressed to myself and my closest friends. My beautiful plan all of a sudden came crashing down. That team in 10 years could have won 5 or 6 championships. But I get it. I get the whole chronicle of LeBron's life. He did the right thing. I just finally came to accept the realization that he and his family said, you'll never ever be accepted back in your hometown if you don't go back to try to win.
To understand why Pat Riley's words hit so hard in 2025, you have to go back to the start, when LeBron James and Riley's organization seemed like a perfect match. Choosing Riley wasn't just a basketball move for LeBron. It was a statement. He had spent years trying to figure out who he was, the kid from Akron carrying impossible expectations since he was 17. He tried doing it his own way before, but it hadn't worked. Finals losses, criticism, endless jokes. It was all wearing him down. Then there was Pat Riley. Riley isn't just any basketball executive. He has more championships on his resume than most franchises have won in their entire history. He built dynasties, coached legends, and knows more about winning than almost anyone alive. When LeBron came to him, Riley didn't just offer a team. He offered a system, a philosophy, a way of competing built on one thing above all else: toughness. For Riley, winning is never comfortable. It's supposed to hurt. And he genuinely believed LeBron was the only player alive who could handle that. He went all in, restructuring contracts, making bold front office moves, even risking future flexibility, because he was betting on LeBron's hunger. And for a while, it worked. Championships came. Parades happened. A legacy was being written in real time. Riley watched proud, thinking, this is what I built. This partnership will go down in history. He had no idea what was coming next.
Around 6 years after playing for Miami, how do you feel about Pat Riley?
That's such a broad question, brother. I don't understand.
Leaves it open for interpretation. Like, how do you, when you hear the name Pat Riley, what do you think about? How do you describe your relationship?
I hear the word Pat Riley, you think about probably one of the greatest minds that this game has ever had. He's won at every level. Seen a stat the other day that he's been part of a championship in 4 decades.
Championships have a way of hiding tension. The locker room politics, front office disagreements, and quiet frustrations all get buried under the noise of celebration. But when the winds start to slow, everything comes to the surface. After those titles, a growing disconnect emerged between what Pat Riley wanted and what LeBron James expected. Riley's vision was always about building something sustainable. He never believed in shortcuts. He wanted the franchise to keep evolving, to push even when it was uncomfortable. He made bold moves that required trust from everyone, including LeBron. Even if the pieces weren't perfect, that LeBron had a different idea. People close to both sides say the tension built quietly over months. LeBron wanted certainty, a roster built exactly his way, guarantees Riley simply couldn't give because the league doesn't work like that. Meetings went in circles. Conversations ended unresolved. Slowly, whispers turned into private acknowledgments. LeBron was no longer fully bought into Riley's plan. Riley kept coming back, trying to find a middle ground. LeBron kept pulling back. And then, one day, without the honest face-to-face conversation Riley always demanded, LeBron was gone. This is the part people skip because it's too uncomfortable. LeBron James didn't leave the way a true partnership would demand. He didn't sit down with Pat Riley and have the hard conversation. He didn't look him in the eye and say, "This isn't working for me, and here's why." He didn't show the respect of transparency to a man who had risked everything to build a championship window for him. He just left, and Riley found out like everyone else. Think about how that must have felt for Pat Riley, a man whose identity is built on honesty, loyalty, and directness. A man who believes relationships in an organization are sacred, and problems are faced head-on, even when it hurts. Riley's code is simple. If there's a problem, you say it. If you're leaving, you say it. You don't vanish that LeBron vanished. Those close to Riley describe what came next as a cold, quiet fury, not an outburst. Riley doesn't explode. He freezes. He becomes still in a way that's more terrifying than anger. In that silence, he reportedly told his team something no one outside that room was supposed to hear. LeBron didn't leave because the situation was bad. He left because it got hard. And when it got hard, he ran. Those words stayed in that room for years until now. Here's what makes Pat Riley different from most people who get burned in this league. He doesn't react immediately. He doesn't go on TV the next day, post on social media, or respond to bait. He watches, waits, and lets time do the work. And time did a lot of work. After LeBron left, the hardships Riley had warned about, the tough stretches, the rebuilds, the years where nothing comes easy, caught up with him anyway, just somewhere else. Injuries piled up. Playoff exits happened. Team chemistry issues followed him like a shadow. Every time LeBron made a decision that seemed more about comfort than chasing a championship, Riley was watching. Every time his team underperformed in moments that demanded gritty, uncomfortable, gut-level resilience, Riley saw it. He didn't celebrate. He's not petty, but he noticed, cataloged, and remembered. And over the years, Riley's opinion, formed the day LeBron walked out, only grew stronger. The tension started leaking into public view in small ways. Comments, press conferences, little references to loyalty and the players who stayed in the fight. Riley's words were careful, layered, and precise. Most people didn't notice it at first, but they were about to die. In 2025, Pat Riley finally spoke. And this time, it wasn't the measured, diplomatic language of a man protecting his legacy. It was the voice of someone who had held something in for years and decided the truth mattered more than optics. Quotes from that conversation spread through the basketball world before the media could even frame them. Riley essentially said what he had been thinking for years. LeBron James, for all his greatness, had a pattern, leaving when things got hard, choosing comfort over the fight. Then came the line that shook everyone. You can talk about legacy all you want, but legacy is built in the hard moments. And when it got hard, he ran away. The basketball world stopped. Fan reactions split instantly. One side exploded with validation. Finally, someone with authority was saying what people had only whispered for years. Former players started nodding publicly. Analysts who had tiptoed around this topic for years suddenly felt free to speak. And the pushback came just as hard. LeBron supporters called it bitter revisionism, a disgruntled executive trying to stay relevant by tearing down one of the greatest players of all time. They called it everything except what most people quietly suspected, the truth that LeBron James said nothing. And somehow, that silence was the loudest response he could give. Let's be real. LeBron is one of the greatest basketball players ever. That's not up for debate. His numbers are historic, his longevity unmatched, and his skill across 2 decades may never be replicated. Nobody is taking those championships away. But legacy isn't just stats. Legacy is the story people tell about who you were, not just what you did. And Pat Riley, a man with more rings than almost anyone in NBA history, with zero reason to lie, is now publicly telling a story about LeBron. A man who, when faced with adversity that required patience, resilience, and trust in a process he didn't fully control, chose to leave instead of fight. That story sticks because it fits a pattern even LeBron's loyal fans have noticed. How many times has he been in an uncomfortable situation, a roster that wasn't perfect, a front office he didn't trust, a hard path to a championship, and moved instead of grinding through it? Riley isn't talking about just one exit. Pat Riley isn't just talking about one moment. He's talking about a character trait, how someone operates under pressure. And whether you agree or not, the question he's raising will follow LeBron James for the rest of his life. Was LeBron great because he was tough, or because he was always smart enough to find the softer road? That's the debate Riley just ignited. And it's not going away to here's what we know for sure in 2025. Pat Riley, a man who doesn't waste words, who holds everyone accountable, looked at LeBron's legacy and said, not enough. Not enough honesty. Not enough loyalty. Not enough willingness to stay when staying was hardest. And LeBron, the man who built his brand around legacy, around the kid from Akron, around being more than an athlete, has nothing to say back. That silence says it all. This story is still unfolding. The full fallout hasn't hit yet. When it does, the basketball world will have to choose how they remember LeBron James. Not just as a player, but as a person. And Pat Riley just made that choice a lot harder. Oh, here's the question. Was Pat Riley right? Is leaving when it gets hard the defining pattern of LeBron's career? Or is Riley just a bitter executive who can't accept that his star outgrew him? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new here, this channel is where real basketball conversations happen. The ones you won't see on TV. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Trust me, you don't want to sleep on this.